From Ride Audiobooks comes another story designed to change the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you live. This is not just a book. It is a moment of reflection, a quiet voice reminding you that your peace, your time, and your heart matter too. So sit back, breathe, and let these words guide you to a stronger, calmer version of yourself. There comes a time in life when one word can change everything. That word is no. It is small, simple, and powerful, yet we fear it. We say yes when our heart quietly says no. We do it because we want to please, because we want to belong, because we do not want to disappoint the people around us. But deep down, every yes that goes against your peace is a form of self-betrayal. Think about how many times you have agreed to something just to avoid tension. You stayed longer at work. You helped someone even when you were exhausted. You listened to a story that drained you because you did not want to seem rude. We all do it. But after each yes that isn't true, a small part of us feels empty. That emptiness is the cost of ignoring our own boundaries. Saying no is not about rejection. It is about direction. It's about choosing where your time, your energy, and your emotions truly belong. You were not born to carry the weight of everyone's expectations. You were born to live a peaceful, meaningful life that feels honest from the inside. From childhood, many of us were taught that good people always say yes, that helping others, no matter the cost, makes us worthy of love. But this belief traps us in a cycle of guilt and exhaustion. You can still be a kind person and say no. You can still care deeply and protect your space. Boundaries are not walls. They are doors that decide who and what is allowed to enter your life. If you feel afraid to say no, it's often because you fear losing someone's approval. You might think they will get angry or call you selfish. But remember this truth. People who only love you when you say yes don't really love you. They love the version of you that serves their comfort. Real love, real friendship, and real respect will always survive an honest no. When you first begin to set boundaries, guilt will visit you. It will whisper that you are being cold. It will tell you that you should explain yourself more. But guilt is not proof that you are wrong. It is proof that you are breaking an old habit. Growth often feels uncomfortable at first. You are simply teaching your mind a new truth, that your peace matters too. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to step back. You are allowed to protect your time. You do not have to be available to everyone. You do not have to explain every decision. Your life is not a courtroom where you defend your worth through other people's approval. Sometimes a calm and clear no is the highest form of respect you can give, to yourself and to others. When you say yes to everything, you teach people that your time has no limits. You show them that they can always take and you will always give. But when you begin to say no, something powerful happens. You teach them that your energy has value. You teach them that you are not afraid to choose yourself. That lesson may upset a few people at first, but it will attract the right ones later. People who respect your boundaries because they have learned to respect their own. You might think that saying no will make you less kind, but the truth is, it makes you more genuine. When you stop saying yes out of guilt, every yes that remains will come from love, not pressure. Imagine living a life where every yes is real, where you give because you want to, not because you feel forced to. That is emotional freedom. There's a reason the strongest people in the world are often calm. They have learned the quiet power of no. They understand that their time and focus are limited. They give from a place of strength, not obligation. You can learn that too. The next time someone asks for something that doesn't feel right, pause. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself if saying yes will make you resentful later. If the answer is yes, then say no. Say it kindly but firmly. A simple, honest sentence is enough. You don't owe anyone an essay to justify your boundaries. For example, you can say, I wish I could, but I can't right now. Or you can say, that doesn't work for me. Or simply, thank you for thinking of me, but I'll pass. These are small phrases, yet they carry power. They show confidence without aggression. They show kindness without surrender. Sometimes people will not accept your no. They will push back. They will try to change your mind. They might even use guilt to make you agree. In those moments, remember that every time you give in, you teach them that pressure works. But every time you hold your ground calmly, you teach them that you mean what you say. That is how respect is built, not by pleasing others, but by being consistent with your truth. You are not responsible for how people feel about your boundaries. You are only responsible for communicating them with honesty and respect. What others choose to do with that truth is their journey, not yours. If someone truly values you, they will learn to adjust. If they don't, it's a sign that their connection to you was based on convenience, not care. The more you practice saying no, the lighter you will feel. You will start to notice that your stress levels drop. Your energy feels balanced. Your focus returns. You will find yourself saying yes to things that truly matter because you finally have the space to enjoy them. That is the reward of setting boundaries, clarity, and peace. Think about this. When you protect your energy, you are not pushing people away. You are creating room for the right people to enter. You are creating room for genuine peace to grow. And maybe, for the first time, you will realize that saying no isn't selfish. It's sacred. When you begin to honor your peace, you will also begin to see the world differently. You will notice that many of the situations that used to stress you out no longer have power over you. You will see that most people's expectations are simply habits, not needs. And you will realize that you do not have to participate in everything that drains you. There is something incredibly freeing about not needing to explain yourself to everyone. You can simply choose silence. You can smile and move on. The moment you stop defending your no, it becomes stronger. You will start to notice that people take your words more seriously when you use them less often and more intentionally. Saying no does not mean that you stop caring about others. It means you start caring about yourself with the same compassion you have always given away. For years, you may have been the one who always listens, who always shows up, who always sacrifices. That kindness is beautiful. But when it is one-sided, it becomes a form of self-neglect. The goal is not to stop giving. The goal is to give without losing yourself in the process. Remember this. Boundaries are not punishment. They are protection. They are not against others. They are for you. Every time you create space between yourself and what hurts you, you give healing a place to enter. Think of it this way. If your life is a garden, boundaries are the fence that keeps it safe. Without them, anyone can walk in, trample the flowers, and leave footprints behind. But with clear boundaries, you decide who enters, when they enter, and for how long. That is not selfishness. That is stewardship. People might not like your fence at first. They may test it, lean on it, or even try to climb over it. But eventually, those who truly respect you will learn to knock first. They will understand that your boundaries are not rejection. They are a sign of self-respect. Saying no also teaches others something powerful. It shows them that they too have permission to protect their energy. When you lead by example, you create an invisible ripple of strength. Someone watching you might finally gather the courage to speak their own truth. Your no could become someone else's permission to stop people-pleasing. There will be times when saying no feels lonely, when it feels like you are walking away from people or opportunities. But you must trust that every no you speak with integrity will lead you to a better yes later. The space you create by saying no is not empty. It is sacred ground where the right things can finally grow. There is also peace in stillness. You don't always need to explain, argue, or defend. The quiet confidence that comes with a calm no is one of the strongest forms of self-mastery. It tells the world that you know your worth without shouting it. It tells others that you have nothing to prove. The more you practice this kind of strength, the more balanced your relationships become. You stop overextending. You stop chasing people who make you question your value. You begin to attract those who respect your presence. Sometimes the hardest person to say no to is yourself. You might say yes to habits that drain you, to thoughts that limit you, or to fears that keep you small. Learning to say no to your own patterns is just as important as setting boundaries with others. Say no to overthinking. Say no to perfectionism. Say no to comparing your path to someone else's highlight reel. Say no to the voice in your head that tells you you're not enough. Because you are. You have always been. When you say no to what weakens you, you say yes to what strengthens you. You say yes to rest, to clarity, to growth. You say yes to becoming the version of yourself that moves with peace instead of pressure. Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that you don't need to please everyone anymore. You don't need to chase approval. You don't need to apologize for existing as you are. That is the moment when life begins to feel light again. That is the reward for every no you ever struggled to speak. You will find that peace is addictive. Once you taste it, you will never want to lose it again. You will guard it carefully, not out of fear, but out of gratitude, because you know how hard it was to earn it. You will also discover that saying no often brings more respect than saying yes ever did. People begin to notice your calm confidence. They begin to realize that you mean what you say. That is the kind of presence that silently commands respect. There is strength in not reacting to every request, in not explaining every choice, in not proving every point. Silence is a language of its own. It tells the world that you trust yourself. It tells the universe that you are ready to protect your peace. When you start setting boundaries, some people may call you distant or cold. They may say you've changed. They are right. You have changed. You have stopped living for their comfort and started living for your truth. And that is a beautiful change. Growth will cost you comfort, but it will reward you with freedom. You may lose a few people, but you will find yourself. And the peace that comes from being authentic is worth more than any temporary approval. Over time, you will begin to see boundaries not as something you do occasionally, but as a natural part of who you are. You won't even need to announce them. People will simply feel them in the way you carry yourself. Your calmness will speak for you. Your silence will protect you. Your energy will filter out what doesn't belong. Saying no becomes easy when you truly understand your priorities. When you know what you stand for, you stop being afraid of what you might lose. You cannot lose what is meant for you. You can only lose what was built on conditions. And once you realize this, every decision becomes simpler. You no longer chase what isn't aligned with your peace. You simply let it pass. There's a beautiful quote that says, "The word no might make someone angry, but it will set you free." And freedom is worth the discomfort. Every time you choose peace over pleasing, you reclaim another piece of yourself. You are not here to live a life of constant explanation. You are not here to fix everyone or to fill every silence with reassurance. You are here to live a life that feels true to you. And that begins with knowing when to say no. When you finally understand the power of your own voice, you stop needing to shout. Your calm becomes your authority. Your peace becomes your proof. You learn that you don't need to convince anyone of your worth. Your presence alone is enough. You begin to see that saying no is not the end of something. It is often the beginning of something better. A better schedule, a better relationship, a better mindset. Every no creates space for a truer yes. The people who truly value you will never make you feel guilty for setting boundaries. They will understand that your no is not rejection, it is self-care. Those who walk away because of your boundaries were never meant to stay. Let them go with love. Sometimes, the hardest part of this journey is forgiving yourself for all the times you didn't say no, for the times you said yes to avoid conflict, for the times you stayed silent when you should have spoken up. But remember this, you did what you knew best at that time. Now you know better. Now you can choose differently. Growth is not about perfection. It's about awareness. Every moment you pause before saying yes, every time you take a breath before agreeing, every time you choose yourself, that is progress. Boundaries are built one decision at a time. They are not made from walls of anger, but from bricks of clarity. Each no you speak becomes part of the foundation of your peace. You might notice how your energy changes once you stop overcommitting, how your body feels lighter, your mind quieter, your days slower in a good way. You start to rediscover joy in simple things. A walk alone, a quiet morning, a peaceful evening without interruptions. When you stop running from yourself, you find that peace has been waiting inside you all along. It's not about isolating yourself from the world. It's about reconnecting with your own rhythm. You realize that your energy is sacred. You no longer give it to people or places that drain you. You begin to make decisions based not on fear or guilt, but on alignment. Alignment means living in harmony with your values. It means doing things that feel right, not just things that look right. It means choosing depth over approval, peace over popularity. And this choice changes everything. You start to notice who really supports you when you are no longer available for everything. Some people disappear, some grow closer. The ones who stay are your true circle, those who respect your space as much as your presence. This kind of peace doesn't come overnight. It comes slowly, after many small choices that say, I matter too. It comes after tears, reflection, and courage. But once you reach it, you will guard it with gentle strength. You will stop chasing closure and start creating clarity. You will stop waiting for people to understand you and start understanding yourself. You will stop proving and start being. And when that happens, your life will begin to feel like yours again. You'll wake up with less anxiety. You'll breathe easier. You'll stop rehearsing conversations in your head and start living in the present. You'll realize that peace is not found in controlling everything. It's found in letting go of what's not meant for you. There will be days when you still struggle, when old patterns try to return, when guilt whispers that you're being selfish again. But remember, guilt is not truth. It's just a habit of thought. You can acknowledge it, thank it for its concern, and still move forward. Each time you choose yourself, that guilt will fade a little more. Each time you honor your boundary, you'll feel lighter, stronger, more whole. Peace is not something you chase. It's something you allow. It's what happens when you stop saying yes to chaos. And the beauty is, when you begin to protect your energy, You don't just heal yourself. You change the energy around you. People start to treat you differently because you treat yourself differently. They start to mirror the respect you show yourself. That is the secret of inner strength. The world reflects the boundaries you live by. When you carry calm within you, life begins to organize itself around that calm. The noise outside loses its grip. The opinions of others fade into background sounds. What remains is clarity. Clarity about who you are. Clarity about what truly matters. Clarity about where your energy belongs. And this clarity is priceless. From this place, your decisions become simple. You no longer need to justify your no. You no longer doubt your intuition. You trust yourself, not because life is perfect, but because you've learned that you can handle imperfection with peace. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. You start to respond instead of react. You listen more. You rush less. You choose your commitments with care. And somehow life becomes more meaningful. Not because everything changes, but because your awareness does. People who once drained you no longer have that power. Situations that once overwhelmed you no longer steal your peace. You have learned the art of emotional distance, not detachment, but discernment. You still care, but you care wisely. That is what true maturity looks like. Not coldness, not indifference, but knowing that your peace is too valuable to trade for temporary validation. At some point, you stop apologizing for who you've become. You realize that you don't need everyone to like you, agree with you, or understand you. You just need to be at peace with yourself. And that peace will quietly change everything around you. There will come a moment when you look back at your old self, the one who said yes to everything, who tried to please everyone, who stayed quiet to keep the peace, and you will smile, not with regret, but with gratitude, because that version of you survived long enough to become this one, the one who knows that real peace doesn't come from avoiding conflict, but from honoring truth. The one who knows that saying no isn't rejection, it's redirection. The one who knows that life doesn't reward endless giving, but conscious living. You'll start to feel how light life can be when you stop carrying everyone's expectations. You'll move slower, breathe deeper, think clearer. You'll begin to choose joy not because it's easy, but because it's yours. There will still be challenges. There will still be people who test your patience, who try to cross your boundaries, who misunderstand your silence. But now, you will respond differently. You will no longer react out of guilt or fear. You will pause, breathe, and stand in your truth. And that calm, that sacred calm, will be your greatest power, because calmness is not weakness. Calmness is control. It is the quiet knowing that you no longer need to fight every battle to prove your worth. You simply live it. You radiate it. You'll notice something beautiful too. The more peaceful you become, the more peace you attract. The more clear you are about your boundaries, the more clarity others show you. Life begins to mirror your inner state. What once seemed chaotic starts to align. Your no becomes a filter for truth. It keeps distractions out. It keeps your purpose clear. It helps you see what truly deserves your yes. And that yes, the rare, powerful, intentional yes, becomes sacred. You will give it only to what aligns with your soul, to what grows you, to what feels like peace. This is not selfishness, this is self-respect. For too long, you may have been taught that saying no is rude, that boundaries are cold, that kindness means sacrifice. But the truth is, kindness without limits becomes exhaustion. Love without boundaries becomes pain, and selflessness without balance becomes loss of self. Real kindness includes yourself. Real love protects your peace. Real strength knows when to walk away. Sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is disappoint others to stay true to yourself. That kind of courage isn't loud. It doesn't need applause. It lives quietly in your choices, in your peace, in your honesty. You will realize that not everyone is meant to walk every chapter with you. Some people belong in your story, but not in your future. And that's okay. Growth requires letting go. Every no you speak with love creates room for new beginnings. It allows new energy to find you. Energy that feels lighter, kinder, truer. You begin to understand that you are not here to be everything to everyone. You are here to be whole within yourself. There is power in simplicity. There is freedom in boundaries. There is beauty in being misunderstood and still choosing peace. When you stop explaining your worth, life starts reflecting it. When you stop overextending, blessings begin to meet you halfway. When you stop chasing people, the right ones naturally stay. And in that stillness, you will feel something you may not have felt in a long time. Safety within yourself. Safety to say no. Safety to take space. Safety to rest without guilt. This safety is the foundation of confidence. You begin to trust your feelings, your timing, your intuition. You begin to realize that you don't owe anyone an explanation for your healing. Healing is personal, boundaries are sacred, and your peace is not up for negotiation. From this space of peace, everything changes. You begin to attract experiences that match your new vibration. Conversations become gentler. Relationships become deeper. Work feels more aligned. You start to see beauty in ordinary moments, the kind of beauty that doesn't need an audience. And one day, you'll realize that the person you were always trying to become was simply the person you were before the world told you who to be. All along, your peace was waiting beneath the noise. All along, your worth was never lost, only forgotten. And all along, the power to protect it was already inside you. This journey of learning to say no is not about closing your heart. It's about opening it wisely. It's about giving from overflow, not emptiness. It's about learning that you are allowed to rest, to disconnect, to heal. You are allowed to protect your time like it's gold, because it is. You are allowed to protect your energy like it's sacred, because it is. And you are allowed to protect your heart like it's priceless, because it is. Your peace is the foundation of everything you build. Without it, even success feels heavy. With it, even ordinary days feel divine. So choose peace, even when it costs you popularity. Choose honesty, even when it brings silence. Choose rest, even when the world demands speed. Choose boundaries, even when they're misunderstood, because the world doesn't need another person who's exhausted from saying yes. It needs people who are alive, grounded, and whole. People who lead with calm conviction. And that begins with one simple, powerful word. No. Not the angry no, not the defensive no, but the calm, grounded, loving no. The kind of no that says, I respect you, but I also respect myself. When you master that, you master life. Because every time you say no to what doesn't serve you, you say yes to what truly will. And maybe that's the real secret. That peace isn't something you find, it's something you create, word by word, choice by choice, boundary by boundary. So, from this moment forward, may you walk with calm strength. May your yes be sacred. May your no be clear. and may your life become a reflection of the peace you've learned to protect.